The fog between us, Arc 1. The fog that opens. A road trip shifts into something wrong when a wall of impossible fog appears on a road that should have been familiar. What waits on the other side isn't a town on any map, and it isn't empty. Chapter 1. The Road That Never Ends. The trees blurred past my window in long strokes of green and gold, sunlight flickering through the branches like someone was playing with a light switch. Elias tapped the steering wheel in rhythm with our road trip song, the one we always played first, no matter where we were going. Lexi was in the back seat, singing off key on purpose, laughing at her own dramatic hand gestures. I tried to laugh with her, I really did, but every time Elias's arm brushed mine on the center console, my chest tightened in that stupid, traitorous way I pretended not to notice. I kept my face turned toward the window, hoping neither of them could hear the way my heart jumped. Okay, but tell me that wasn't the best story I've ever told, Lexi said, kicking the back of my seat lightly. It wasn't, I said. It absolutely was, she insisted. Elias snorted. It was something. Lexi gasped dramatically. Wow, betrayal from both sides. I see how it is. I smiled despite myself. That was the thing about the three of us. Even when something felt off inside me, even when the world felt heavy in ways I couldn't explain, they could still put a smile on my face. The road curved gently, the forest growing thicker, darker. The air felt different here, heavier, like the trees were leaning in to listen. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to be the one who felt weird vibes on a road trip, but something in my stomach twisted. You good? Elias asked quietly, just loud enough to hear over the music. I nodded. Yeah, just tired. It wasn't a lie, just not the whole truth. He gave me one of those small, soft smiles, the kind that made my throat tighten, then looked back at the road. I looked away before I could get caught staring. The song shifted into the chorus. Lexi sang louder, completely oblivious to the tension humming between me and Elias like a second soundtrack. I wished I could be oblivious too. The gaslight blinked on. Seriously? Lexi groaned. Elias, you had one job. I had several, he said. Driving, not killing us, keeping you entertained. Failing all of them, she shot back. I laughed, but the sound felt thin. The forest outside the windows were getting darker, even though the sun was still up. Shadows stretched across the road like long fingers. We'll find a station, Elias said, but his voice had that edge, the one he got when he was trying to sound calm for everyone else's sake. I leaned forward, squinting through the windshield. Do you see that? What? Lexi asked. The fog. It wasn't drifting in. It wasn't rolling across the road. It was just there. A wall of white, thick and unmoving, like someone had painted it onto the air. Elias slowed the Jeep. That wasn't there a second ago. My pulse picked up. Maybe it's just low clouds. On the ground, Lexi said, in the middle of the day. The song kept playing, but suddenly it didn't feel comforting anymore. Elias glanced at me again. We can turn around, but the road behind us looked darker than the fog ahead. No, I said before I could stop myself. Just go slow. He nodded, trusting me in that quiet way he always did, the way that made my chest ache. The Jeep rolled forward. The fog swallowed us whole. The world behind us disappeared. And for the first time on that trip, I felt truly, deeply afraid. Chapter 2. The Fog That Shouldn't Exist. The fog swallowed us so completely, it felt like we'd driven into a cloud that forgot how to float. The Jeep's headlights pushed forward only a few feet before dissolving into white nothingness. The air outside looked thick enough to touch, like cotton soaked in milk. Lexi leaned forward between the seats. Okay, this is weird. Understatement of the century. My fingers curled around the edge of my seat. I tried to keep my breathing steady, but the fog pressed against the windows like it wanted to get inside. Elias slowed to a crawl. I can't see the road. Should we stop? I asked. He hesitated. If someone comes up behind us, they'll hit us. Who's driving out here? Lexi muttered. We're in the middle of nowhere. She wasn't wrong. We hadn't seen another car in at least an hour. Just trees, sky, and an endless stretch of road that now felt like it had been replaced with a blank page. The song kept playing, soft and familiar, but it sounded wrong in the fog, like it was echoing in a place it didn't belong. I reached for the volume knob. Maybe turn it down? Elias nodded, and I lowered it until the lyrics were barely a whisper. The silence that followed felt heavier than the fog. My chest tightened. I didn't like enclosed spaces. I didn't like not knowing what was ahead. I didn't like the way the fog reminded me of. No, not now. I forced the memory back down where it belonged. Do you think it's, like, toxic? Lexi asked, her voice too loud in the quiet. It's fog, Elias said, but he didn't sound convinced. Fog wasn't supposed to appear out of nowhere. Fog wasn't supposed to be this thick. Fog wasn't supposed to feel alive. The Jeep crept forward another few feet. The road beneath us felt different, smoother, almost too smooth. Like the asphalt had been replaced with something new. Guys, I whispered, do you hear that? Elias paused. Hear what? I didn't know how to explain it. It wasn't a sound exactly, more like the absence of one. The forest had gone silent. No birds, no insects, no winds, just the hum of the engine and the faint, wrong-sounding song. I don't like this, Lexi said, hugging her arms around herself. Me neither, I admitted. Elias's jaw tightened. We'll get through it. It's probably just a weird weather pocket. But even he didn't believe that. The fog thinned suddenly, like someone had pulled back a curtain, and a shape appeared ahead, a wooden sign, old and weathered, standing crooked on the side of the road. Welcome to Boulderstown, population 1,246. Lexi leaned closer. Where the hell are we? I've never heard of it, Elias said. Neither had I, and I'd lived in this state my whole life. The fog behind us closed like a door. My stomach dropped. Should we turn around? I asked. Elias looked in the rearview mirror. The fog was a solid wall now, thicker than before, stretching across the entire road. We can't, he said quietly. The Jeep rolled forward, the sign passing on our right. My skin prickled. My heartbeat went slow. Something deep inside me whispered that we shouldn't be here. Lexi exhaled shakily. Okay. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's just a small town. Maybe they have gas. Yeah, Elias said, but his voice was tight. Let's find a station. We drove deeper into Boulderstown. The streets were empty. The houses were still. The air was too quiet. Chapter 3, Almost Said. The gas station sat at the edge of the empty street like it had been placed there for us and only us. The lights were on, the windows were spotless, the pumps gleamed, everything looked normal. Elias pulled in slowly, scanning the shadows. Okay, we'll try here. Lexi unbuckled before the Jeep even stopped. I'll go in. If someone's inside, I can charm them into giving us directions. I can come with you, I said. She shook her head. Nah, if there's a creep in there, I'd rather he sees one girl than two. Plus, Elias looks like he's about to pass out. I'm fine, he muttered. You're pale, she said, like vampire in the sun pale. She hopped out before either of us could argue. The bell above the door jingled as she stepped inside, then silence. Elias leaned against the Jeep, exhaling hard. I joined him, crossed my arms, even though the air wasn't cold. The quiet pressed in, the town pressed in, everything pressed in. Finally, Elias said, I hate that she went in alone. She'll be okay, I said, though my voice didn't sound convincing. He nodded, but his jaw was tight. His eyes stayed fixed on the gas station door, like he was afraid it might swallow her whole. Then he said something that made my heart stop. I should have gone in, he muttered. But I didn't want to leave you out here by yourself. I blinked. Why? He hesitated, not because he didn't know the answer, but because he wasn't sure he should say it. Because when things feel wrong, his voice softened. You're the person I want next to me. My breath caught. He didn't look at me. He didn't need to. His voice was quiet, almost embarrassed. You make everything feel less terrifying, even when you're scared too. My chest tightened painfully. He wasn't saying it outright, but he was saying it, and I understood. I opened my mouth. I didn't even know what I was going to say. Something honest, something real, something that had been sitting in my chest for months, waiting for a moment like this. But before I could speak, the bell above the gas station door slammed open. Lexi stumbled out. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. She looked like she'd seen something she couldn't explain. Guys, she whispered, voice trembling, we need to go now. Elias straightened instantly. Lex, what happened? She shook her head, swallowing hard. There's no one in there. No clerk, no customers, but the lights are on. The coffee machine is running. And she stopped, eyes darting back to the door. And what? I asked. The back room door was open when I walked in, she said. When I turned around, it was closed. A chill crawled up my spine. Elias moved closer to her. Okay, get in the Jeep. But as we climbed in, I felt it. The moment between me and Elias, still hanging in the air, unfinished and fragile. He had almost told me everything. I had almost said something back. The fog rolled in fast, low to the ground, like it was trying to get there before we did. We got in the Jeep. Chapter 4. The Ones Who Stayed. The Jeep fishtailed as Elias slammed it into reverse, gravel spitting out from under the tires. Lexi was still shaking in the back seat, her breath coming in sharp, uneven bursts. I kept looking over my shoulder, waiting for something, to step out of the fog. Just get us out of here, Lexi whispered. Please, just go. Elias didn't answer. He drove. The exit sign glowed faintly through the mist ahead, a pale rectangle in the distance. I locked onto it like it was a lifeline. But the closer we got, the further it seemed. At first, I thought it was my eyes playing tricks on me. The fog made everything look warped, stretched, but then the sign actually shifted. Just a few feet, then a few more, like the road was lengthening under us. Elias, I said, voice tight, it's moving. I know. His knuckles were white on the wheel. I'm trying. The Jeep groaned, engine coughing like it was choking on the air. The fog thickened around us, pressing in from all sides. The headlights barely cut through it. Come on, Elias muttered. Come on, don't do this. The Jeep sputtered once, twice, then died. The silence that followed was worse than any sound. Lexi whimpered, No, 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 no. Elias hit the key again. Nothing, not even a click. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. We have to run. He looked at me, and for a moment I saw the fear he was trying to hide. Then he nodded. We threw the doors open and bolted. The fog swallowed us instantly. I couldn't see more than a few feet ahead, but I could hear Elias's footsteps beside me, Lexi's ragged breathing behind us. The ground sloped downward, uneven, like the earth itself was shifting. Then the fog thinned just enough to reveal shapes, rows, stone, a graveyard. I skidded to a stop, chest heaving. The headstones were old, cracked, leaning at strange angles. Some had no names at all, just blank slabs of stone. "What is this place?" Lexi whispered. Before I could answer, a sound drifted through the fog. Footsteps, dozens of them, slow, synchronized. Elias grabbed my arm. "Run!" But it was too late. Figures emerged from the mist. Men, women, children, faces calm, eyes empty, each holding an axe. The blades glinted dully in the gray light, and every single one of them had a faint pale mark across their temple, a thin, silvery scar like a hill burn. Lexi's voice trembled. What is that?" The first axe flew. It spun through the fog and struck Lexi in the side of the head, not cutting, not killing, but sinking into her like it passed through skin and bone without breaking either. Her body jerked once, then she went still. Her eyes softened. Her face relaxed into the same eerie calm the townspeople wore. A faint silver mark appeared where the axe had touched her temple. "Lexi!" I grabbed her shoulders, shaking her. "Lexi, look at me!" She smiled gently. "It's okay, Sira. It's peaceful here." Another axe flew. It hit Elias in the temple the same way. His head snapped to the side, his body stiffening for a moment before his expression melted into serene stillness. A matching silver mark glowed faintly on his skin. "Elias!" I screamed. "Elias, please, what's happening? Snap out of it." He blinked slowly, smiling like he'd just woken from a dream. "You don't have to run anymore." Then something slammed into my head. A burst of white light, a ringing in my ears. My knees buckled, but I didn't go still. I didn't soften. I didn't fall under. I staggered upright, dizzy, terrified, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. Lexi tilted her head, smiling with that unnatural calm. "You'll feel better once you stop fighting." "I'm not fighting," I cried, voice cracking. "I'm trying to get you out of here." Elias stepped closer, his expression serene and wrong. "There's nothing to get out of. It's safe here." "No, it's not." I grabbed his arm. "Elias, please, come with me. Both of you. We have to go." He didn't move. Lexi didn't move. They just stared at me with those soft, empty smiles. "I don't understand," I whispered. "What's happening to you?" Neither of them answered. The fog pressed harder, swirling around my legs, pushing against my back like invisible hands. "No," I said, stumbling forward. "No, stop. I'm not leaving them. I'm not leaving you." I grabbed Elias's face, desperate. "Fight it, please. I know you're still in there." For a moment, nothing changed. Then Elias blinked once, twice, and suddenly his eyes were his. "Sira," his voice was loud. "Run!" "Elias," I said, almost crying. His face twisted like something was pulling him backwards. The trance clawed at him, dragging him under. I leaned in, forehead against his. "Stay with me. Please, please don't go." For a heartbeat, he was entirely himself. "Come back for us," he whispered. "Don't forget us." Then the trance swallowed him again. I sobbed, shaking, clinging to him like I could anchor him to reality. "Elias, please, please, please wake up." But the townspeople began to close in. The fog surged behind them, thick and heavy, forcing me backwards. My feet slid across the dirt. I tried to hold on to Elias, but his hands slipped from mine like water. "No," I screamed. "I'm not leaving you. I'll come back. I swear I'll come back for you." Elias and Lexi stood side by side, serene and unreachable, silver marks glowing faintly on their temples. The fog shoved harder. The exit sign flickered through the mist. Now leaving Boulder's town, population 1,245. "I'll come back," I cried again, voice breaking. "I promise." The fog surged. My knees hit the ground. Gravel scraped my palms. A sharp breath punched out of me as I blinked at the sudden brightness of open road and open air. I stayed there for a moment, steadying myself. My heartbeat thudded fast and uneven, the way it did after a spike I couldn't control. A faint tremor ran through my hands, familiar, unwelcome. It felt like the aftermath of a panic attack, the kind that sometimes blindsides me when memories of Dad crept too close. I pushed myself upright, brushing dirt from my jeans. The Jeep sat a few feet away, engine running, driver's door open, like I'd stepped out in a hurry. That part made sense. Sometimes I get out to breathe when it hits too hard. I moved towards the Jeep, still catching my breath. Something in my chest tightened, small, sharp, unexpected. I slid into the driver's seat. A small metallic object lay on the seat, a lighter, silver, worn, engraved with 2 letters, E-R. The moment my fingers closed around it, something shifted inside me, quiet, heavy, like a memory brushing past. Without stopping, I set the lighter down, gently, gripping the steering wheel until the feeling eased. After a moment, I put the Jeep in drive and eased back onto the road, telling myself I must have pulled over to calm down. Chapter 5. Echoes. The drive felt longer than it should have. The road stretched out in front of me in a straight, empty line, but every few minutes, I caught myself glancing in the rearview mirror like I expected someone to be there. No one was. Just the road, just the sky, just me. The song that had been playing earlier ended, but the feeling it left behind didn't. It sat low in my chest, a dull pressure I couldn't shake. I kept telling myself it was nothing, just leftover adrenaline from the panic spike. Still, my fingers drifted toward the lighter on the passenger seat more than once. I didn't pick it up, not yet, but I kept looking at it. The engraving caught the sunlight every so often, flashing like it wanted my attention. I didn't know why it bothered me. It was just a lighter. People leave things in cars all the time. By the time I reached the motel, the sun was dipping low. I checked in, dropped my bag on the bed, and sat there for a long moment, staring at the wall like I was waiting for my brain to catch up to something. I showered, I changed, I laid down. Sleep didn't come easily. When it finally did, it wasn't restful. I dreamed of hands, warm, calloused, familiar, brushing mine, a voice saying my name in a way that made my chest tighten, a laugh I almost recognized, a silhouette standing just out of reach, fog curling around my legs. I reached for them, they slipped away. I woke with my heart pounding and no idea why. The room was dark, the air was still, the only sound was the hum of the motel AC, but something felt missing. I sat up slowly, rubbing my face. The lighter sat on the nightstand where I'd tossed it earlier. I picked it up without thinking. The metal was warm from the lamp beside it. My thumb brushed the engraved letters, E-R. A faint ache bloomed in my chest, soft, quiet, but real. I closed my hand around the lighter and lay back down, staring at the ceiling. The ache didn't fade. It pulsed, steady and insistent, like it belonged to something I should have remembered. My eyes slipped shut. A name brushed the back of my mind, faint as a whisper. I reached for it, it vanished, and I drifted into a restless, uneasy half-sleep.